Jason, I have a question for you in kind of relation to that. Earlier, you had mentioned, you had kind of sat back when your wife was mentioning the idea of fostering many kids, and you thought, well, we couldn't even afford, getting a kiddo from China, given the cost. And now you've been in this for a while, and you said you found your calling, and you're grateful, and regardless of the money, this is where you're meant to be. What does that look like if somebody's listening? What could they get from this? Like some advice or some tips um, into going into fostering and being able to, find a way to make the means possible to continue to do what you love to do here.
Realistically, the thing that turned us off at first was adopting a child from China because international adoption is expensive. And like I said, at the time, I was making like 20 grand a year raising 3 kids. And I went, yeah, I don't have an extra 30 grand to do that. And we ended up feeling led towards foster care eventually. And that's the route we went. And quite frankly, um, it's not so much a matter of what you can get out of it. Yes, depending on the state you're in, there's a stipend that you get for helping to take care of these kids. Um, Ironically, right now, one of the local St. Louis media organizations is running a big story on how Missouri, where I live, is rated like the bottom in the nation on the foster system, right? I think our reimbursement rate is like second lowest or the lowest in the nation. I, last I looked at the numbers, I think they give you $236 a month to raise a kid. Wow. I don't know about y'all, but that's not a lot of money.
We spend $200 a week on groceries, so and there's 3 of us.
You get an extra $50 a month for diaper allowance if they're under 2. And let me tell you, diapers haven't gotten cheaper either. They show up at my door by the case, but that's what we do. And so realistically, we lose a little bit of money every month, most months, but that's neither here nor there. Really, the reason why we do it is because of what we can give. The thing we do have, we were blessed with this big, beautiful house that you can't see, but it's just like built in 1900 something. It's not like a fancy house, right? It's not rich. We spent less than $130,000 buying a 2,400 square foot house, and depending on the part of the world you live in, that could be crazy numbers, right? But we have a big house. We have lots of room. We have my wife's a stay-at-home mom. We have the ability to speak into lives of kids who have something hard going on. My wife grew up through that. She has lived experience. She knows what that's like, and so that's how we're there. And honestly, it's all about what you can give to these kids, because most of the time, if you're making money off of being a foster parent, you're probably doing something horrible, or you live in one of the rare states that pay some kind of crazy huge amount of money. I don't know who that is, but it's not this state.
Yeah, what you're saying here inspires me and warms my heart a little bit, because going back to that, those preconceived conversations that we were talking about earlier in the beginning of this podcast, with people saying, why would you want to do this? Why would you want to go in to have these be around these kids that aren't yours and raise them and be responsible for them? And I've always kind of had the answer just in my mind there. It's been right there. It's easy. Right? I mean, is it easy to raise these kids? Hell no, it's hard, all right? But it is easy to love them. It was very, very easy to come into this relationship when I met these kids and fall in love with them. And all the hard stuff that I had to walk along the last 3 years here as I've been doing it, it's been easy because it's been such an inspiration and motivated by such a simple thing, and that's just this love for these kids. So all the hard stuff you have to walk through, and the navigating and the advocating at schools, or the navigating of boundaries with BioDad, or outside perspectives or family members even, it's easy. It's just easy for me because when you have so much love and you're experiencing so much love in a connection with this little person, all the rest just felt easy. And I didn't need to think about why, because the why was just right there every day in all these little interactions. So to hear you talk about that, and how it's so motivating to you, and why you do this, it sounds like the same thing. It's just that simple fact of love. You've got a lot of love in you, and you want to share that, and that seems to radiate with your family and in the stories that you're sharing with us. So kudos to you, man. I love hearing that.